What's up, everyone? Yellow. I think I'm just gonna keep these guys here to keep me company from now on, but welcome to the UV coating your 2x2 video. This is for our customization giveaway, but I wanted to also do a little tutorial on UV coating a 2x2. I have watched pretty much, I think, all the other 2x2 and 3x3 UV coating tutorials that I could find, and for some reason, specifically on the 2x2, I found a lot of instruction about taking the cube completely apart and taking all of the sides off the pieces and whatnot. And for this, I just want to make it very clear, for this method and for this brand, that is not what you want to do. I want to also caution you to pay attention to those videos. The quality is not what we're shooting for here. We're shooting for like factory level quality, and I'm not looking for ripples and all that. And so if these pieces are not sitting flat, and this is my whole point. Let's round out this point before I ramble. But the point is that if these pieces are not sitting flat like they would be on the table, then the gel coat can't level out. It's just a fact. I mean, if you know anything about the plastic, like if I just magnetize this cube, so I know when you take these plastic pieces apart and you lay them on the flat side, it would be flat, but that's not the side that you're not coating the underside, you're coating the flat side. And when you lay it down, it's gonna kind of be at a slight angle. You can prop that up and have all 24 pieces propped up and hopefully level, and I mean, that sounds like a nightmare though. And then also getting it to be level and sitting under the light. I mean, it's just, at least I have a light that I can bring to the piece, but if you had the nail lamp and you had to bring all your pieces to it, it would be a lot of extra work, and I think a lot of extra headache for an inferior result. So I'm not hating on anyone else's techniques. I mean, whatever works for them is awesome, and if that works for you, beautiful. I just wanted to offer my own opinion and my own advice on this, because I've done quite a few by now, and I've got I have kind of high standards. I have a little OCD, I'll put it that way. I'm not okay with it coming out like just mediocre or anything. I'm not saying that, again, anyone else's are mediocre or any of that. I'm just saying that I hold myself to a high standard here. So anyways, let's get into it. Again, I'm going to be using my favorite brand. It's Gelish. Top it off, soak off Gelish, gel polish, soak off nail sealer, nail gel. So just like in our 3x3 tutorial, that was really the first thing I want to say, is that you don't want to disassemble your cube. You will not end up with good results if those pieces are, not flat. When you put the gel coat on, it's going to all slide down to one side, because the whole thing that's so nice about this is it doesn't harden until you cure it. So you can kind of manipulate it still and whatnot, but a little bit of heat, a little bit of UV light, and it'll start to cure and whatnot. So that's why I even apologize for the somewhat dim light. I kind of want to keep the UV light to a minimum until we're ready to actually hit it and cure it. So first step, as always, we're going to go ahead and, I don't know if you saw, but I wiped down the cube, especially the side that has the logo. I just want to make sure there's no like grime, dirt, dust, anything around the logo, because that's going to get sealed in there. Yeah, but as always, because we can just do one side at a time, you can just wipe down one side at a time. And so with 2x2 as opposed to 3x3, I put the cardboard in just pretty level like that. 2x2, I kind of put it at a little bit more of an angle. I really like to keep those pieces separate, and I kind of have like where like it's like right at the edge of the corner, so that way any gel coat doesn't get to the other side, because the reasoning that the other person had for taking their whole cube apart was they didn't want it to affect the performance. And then by that, I'm sure they mean they don't want gel coat to get inside the cube and affect how it turns. And that's what we're gonna try and prevent by being very cautious and whatnot. And again, if you use these cardboard pieces, you should be good. But also, once you've cured it, you should go through the cube regardless of how you've done it, and just like take, like, whether it's a flathead screwdriver or whatever, but just, really kind of scrape the edges. I mean, if there's even a little tiny piece of gel coat, it'll just flake off. It'll just flake off. So yeah, I don't find that there's a huge need for that. I apologize for the rant, but like I don't find that in my experience, my performance has been great on the cubes. They feel the same and they look really good. And again, in my opinion, but so let's go ahead and do this, and you guys can be the judge. Let's put it that way. Again, everyone, more power to everyone that's even taking on this undertaking, because this is not an easy project. Like I've said before, the guy that I watched first, the guy from Maru Labs, he specifically said, he's like, if you don't need to do this, or if you're worried about ruining your cube, don't do it, because there's a high failure rate, is from the way I took it, what he was saying. Okay, so first thing we did, I mean, this is a lot more straightforward than the 3x3, but I wanted to go over it anyways, just because, again, I felt like there's some mixed information. Again, whatever method you want to use that method, but this is just the way I think works best. And again, even if, like, say you want to really try and keep that UV coating from getting maybe onto another piece, you can put 2 cardboards in there. I mean, you can absolutely, this thing, I'm gonna have to put those back in there, but this thing spreads plenty far where you could add multiple cardboards. You can do whatever you need to do to make it feel like you're not, hindering the performance, because I've said that also. It's like, we're not doing this at the cost of performance in our cube. If you go to my very first UV coating videos, that was something I was very clear on, is I'm really happy to do this, but not at the cost of performance, because performance is all that matters. I mean, this is to increase performance. We want the grip to be so much better that with these magnets and how fast this cube is going to be moving and whatnot, we want to have a good grip on it. And I believe this gives some of the best grip. I believe better than the, like MoU Factory or GAN Factory UV, any of that. I think this is not, because it's not tacky, but it just has more of a grip to it. So let's do it. Let's stop talking about it. Let's do it. So I always do this. Again, I'm a little bit OCD or whatever you want to call it. So I just give it one last wipe down, make sure there's no dust. I've sprayed the air around me with a water bottle to try and get the dust particles to fall. Yeah, this is pretty much, you're trying to minimize dirt, dust, dander, any of that stuff around you. I try to keep the animals away and whatnot. Yeah, I really just want to keep it clean for now. Afterwards, once it's, locked in there, you're good. But right now you want to keep things as clean as possible. So, and just FYI, the big bottle of this stuff, like, I've had to buy the smaller bottle in the past because they just were sold out. But the big bottle of this stuff will coat something like 3 to 4 cubes at least. I think I coated like every single matte finished cube that I had at the time when I first got this stuff, because I was just so excited to have everything UV coated. So one other thing that I want to point out that I noticed from other videos that I thought was a little cringy was, so you notice how, like, when I was doing that, I was brushing it on very carefully. I was doing it very systematically, almost like you would mow your lawn, doing one stripe at a time, back and forth. I do the very same thing on here. That's to make sure it's all covered, make sure it's all covered evenly, and make sure that it comes out really nice. Because again, if you're just like smacking it on there or spackling it on there, it will self-level, but you're asking a lot of the product at that point. If you're only putting brush strokes in, then you have a high chance that your self-leveling is going to take over, and it's going to go ahead and give you a really nice look. So again, brush strokes. I get because these pieces are bigger, because the 2x2 pieces are, obviously bigger on each side than a 3x3 piece, you can pretty much take like a full brush worth of gel coat instead of having to like wipe off the excess on the edge of the bottle. You can pretty much just take that whole amount. So when I get this first side done, I'm gonna go ahead and bring the camera over so you can see it. And then what I'm gonna do is I don't think I'm gonna film every single side. Just I don't want to torture you guys. I mean, if you want to see that, that's fine. I have videos where I feel like I've done the whole thing, but again, I don't want to make this like drawn out and painful for you guys. So I'll get as much of this done as I can. So I've 3 of 4 sides already done. 2x2s come together a lot quicker. And I will point out one thing before, because like I said, I'll cut the camera and do most of it, and then I'll come back to show the finished product. So one thing I hope you guys are noticing I'm doing is I didn't do this. I forgot on one side on the 3x3 and I ended up having to redo a whole bunch. So I'm going around each side, making sure there's no over drip. That's what I'm doing right now. So now that, let's take a look. So now that you can see there's like really no brush strokes. It's very, very glassy and nice already. The self-leveling is doing its job. That logo will forever be on there now. But that's the actual Cube logo. I didn't add anything, so hopefully no one's upset. But that's the actual brand logo. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to take a look at exactly what we're trying to achieve here. Apologize, this stuff's kind of in the way. But so this side, usually I would set a timer. Let's go ahead. Timer. Okay, so we're setting a timer. See, even that, I even tilt my head back because I don't want like any dust or dirt to fall off me onto there. I mean, I take a lint roller to my whole shirt and everything because I have animals. Like I said, no dust, dirt, dander. The 3Ds are your biggest enemy. But like, as I see this, it looks perfect. Like there is not one ripple on any of these pieces. And so this is why hopefully you guys trust me at this point. You've seen how my projects turn out. Again, nothing against everyone else's strategies. I think that I've found pretty kind of the winner. Because I tried, I even bought the exact brand that the Maru Labs, if you go and search on YouTube for Maru Labs UV coating, he's one of the originals. I think you have to actually put on the subtitles for English because it's all in Chinese, I'm pretty sure, or Korean, I forget. Sorry, I don't mean to just assume one or the other. I forget which one it is. But you have to use subtitles to even watch it. And I think that deterred a lot of people, but I watched the whole thing and his cube looks great, but it looks kind of inflated because his gel coat was so thick and it's not a wipe off like this is. And so I bought his brand because it turned out nice and I used it. It was very unforgiving. Like I said, you put it on and it would start to kind of dry and cure before you even use the light. And then by the time I did, it left a lot of like brush strokes and imperfections. And then, so his advice was then if you have imperfections, just take some sandpaper and go ahead and sand it down. And I can't even tell you what a nightmare that is. It starts getting dust everywhere inside your cube. And it's at that point, honestly, I would recommend almost taking your cube apart and sanding each piece one at a time, like taking a piece of sandpaper or a sanding block and sand each side of each piece. But again, this is starting to sound very tedious, is it not? So let's skip all that, use a better brand. And so again, I actually had a friend who's a nail technician and she was like, why don't you try this brand? I promise you, this is what I use, this is what works. And lo and behold, it was the secret sauce the whole time. So yeah, again, I don't think that I know better. I just feel like I stumbled upon a little trick and that's why I try to share it with you guys. So let's look at our time. So we're at 240. So we're just about halfway there. Sorry, let me let my dog in real quick. We had time before it was dry, or before it was set anyways. We still have another minute or so. But at this point, I mean, looking at it, I can already see that it's completely leveled. So I'm gonna give you one more peek. Maybe you can see a little better. So you can see there's just like a little bit on the edge. It just ends at the edge. That's where I wiped it off. And nope, 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 nope. Oh, get out of here. Sorry about that. Had to do some damage control or quality control here. She's a sneaky one, that's why her name's Ninja. But anyways, you can see I wiped off all the edges, so the gel coat stops right at the edge of the color, or of the white or yellow. And this will prevent, again, any type of like running over the edges. But you can see, I mean, I have the lights down so low, so there's very little reflection, but you can see that you can't even tell that I've UV coated it. I mean, it looks perfect. So before I like get some type of dust or dirt on it, I'm just like, I'm gonna push my luck. I'm gonna keep showing off how perfect it is, and I'm gonna get something on it, or a cat hair is gonna fall on it or something. So let's see, we're right about there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my lights. So now we're gonna go ahead and take our, this one, our LED and our UV LED. I think I could just use this one, but I haven't tried just this yet, and I don't wanna find out the hard way that it didn't work and mess up a whole side or something. So we're gonna go ahead and, whoo! So again, usually, especially this is what I would do after this side. This first side really doesn't matter. But once you get to the other sides, you kind of want to use up maybe like a little box and line it in aluminum foil. And all of this light that's, you know, anything that's not hitting the cube or anything that's, you know, going around it, however, it's all going to reflect, and it's going to continue to cure and continue to harden your sides you've already done. So once, I gotta say, this side looks so perfect. I don't mean to brag at all, but like, I'm so excited to show you guys. I got very lucky where there wasn't like, let's see here. I mean, you can also tell how well you covered your pieces by, I'll show you right when I'm done here. Let me, okay. So the bottle only says 30 seconds. Sorry for the silence. I was caught in the UV. And honestly, you should probably be wearing protective glasses. I said this last time, and I haven't even learned my lesson yet. But I wouldn't sit here and stare at this, because afterwards your eyes do start to see kind of funny colors, which is not good. I'm pretty positive that's not good for your eyes. But this, I will say, like, there's a small smell to this gel coat, but it's like really, really mild, where, again, when I watched the Maru Labs one, he was like, do this in a well-ventilated area. It's extremely strong. It's gonna like pretty much get you all loopy. And it was really strong smelling. Like I said, I bought that brand first, and it didn't help. Sorry, this is just driving my cat nuts because of the reflection off the UV coating onto the ceiling. But so yeah, the bottle only says it takes 30 seconds. So we're probably already cured and hardened. Because I have the time, and I have, you know, why not? I figure, especially, you know, I have these like really, you know, I can move this around and point it to wherever I want. So I'll, at the end, once my timing is done, I'll actually go to each piece, put each light very close, and give it like enough extra 30 seconds of very intense light on each piece. And again, because it's a 2x2, you only have 4 pieces per side. So even if you just do that, You can literally just do that to each piece, do 30 seconds on each piece, and you're gonna get bleed over on the other pieces, but that would still total 2 minutes. So 2 minutes is just about what I consider the perfect time. It's like 4 times what they recommend. It gives you, you know for sure it's gonna be nice and hardened by then. And let's see what our time is. So yeah, we're pretty much done. It's amazing how I can ramble. My rambling took all that time already. So okay, and now when I'm just, like I said, I want to get this one side done so I can show you. Once I get this fully cured, I can really bring it over and show you guys, and I can show off how nice this came out. Because that's the one thing I didn't notice anyone else. I mean, anyone that does this well, they show off their work at the end. Any of the people that don't, they tend to kind of not show it very like close and clear and whatnot, and so you end up thinking it turns out okay. But like I noticed in the videos I saw, it did not look very professional, and again, it achieves your result of getting grippiness, but it does not achieve the result of actual like a nice quality gel coat. So real quick, I just want you guys to see. You can also see how well the piece is covered, because the gel coat shows up like almost white, like under black light. It's kind of like white does, like when you have white clothes under black light. So you can see the sides. If they are all like an even shade of color, that means it's been covered evenly. If you had done the gel coat and sorry about this. If you had done the gel coat and you had missed spots on the piece, you would absolutely see like a huge piece of it that's missing where you've completely missed, or you know. So that's one thing too, is like as soon as you hit it with the UV light, if there's a spot that's missing, just take it away, finish gel coating it, and then resume, because again, it's not set until you actually go ahead and give it that light. So yeah, see, like my eyes everything looks so funny now after doing that. So let me real quick grab the alcohol. Boom, real quick, I promised. Okay, so that doesn't go there. So let's go ahead and and here, this is kind of my point too. See, like if you're careful too, like these didn't even stick in there. Like on where I kind of put a lot on the 3x3 to the point where, see, and that just pulled out. It actually pulled out the gel coat that kind of like sat into the seam. So if you cure it right, it actually should leave nothing inside, because it should be so hard that as soon as you even turn the layers, any pieces would flake and come out. So I mean, again, you ideally don't want to get any inside your cube, but I'm just saying that it comes out. It absolutely does. So if it's the question of quality or you know, doing it kind of mid quality, but thinking that you're you know, doing something positive for it, I don't think that's really helping. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. It looks so good. Okay, so let me just wipe off this alcohol so you don't see the shine from it being wet. You see the shine from the UV coat. Look at that. And this is what I mean by showing off your work, is that that's just alcohol, the little white marks, but I don't see anyone else achieving this level of perfection. And again, that's just something I'm trying to pass on. It's not something like a brag. I'm just saying that this is well worth trying out. I mean, oh. It feels so nice. I say this a lot. I'm like, I wish I could hand it to you and you could feel it. You're just gonna have to win it. But and again, I also said this in my last video, but you should definitely after you finish the cube, go through between, especially easy on a 2x2 for the so few pieces, but just go through. I mean, if you pull this open, you can very clearly see if you got any gel coat in there, and if you did, you just take either your fingernail or a screwdriver or anything and just flick it off. I promise you it's that easy. Like I say, again, I don't know, like they might be using different products, they might be getting varied results because of that, but like I can tell you that with this product, see, I can only speak for what I use, but like for this product, I would say this is the way to go. Because that's the other thing, is I don't notice a lot of people also like bragging about, not bragging again, but like really showing off the brand they use or anything, because I don't think it's anything special or anything unique or proprietary. I think that where I think this kind of is, I think it's very, very rare to get this kind of quality from an at-home job. So yeah. Again, sorry, don't need to be like tooting my own horn. I just feel so happy right now because this is, again, and I don't even keep these. This is going to a giveaway, but like that just shows how much I truly care about what you guys get. I don't want you to get some piece of junk. I want you to get something that you're really happy to receive. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video there, and I'm going to cut to the end when I'm finished, and I'll show you the finished product because I think you guys get the gist. So maybe I'll just set up this next side, and that way you'll just pretty much, it's 6 times of the same exact thing. So we're going to insert our cardboard. We just cleaned off our edges, or our corners. There are no edges, actually. I just meant the edges of the pieces. Again, you want to insert these. I make my 2x2 ones a little extra long because the pieces are bigger and you really you want it to be able to slice up, and like, again, that's why it doesn't get in there, is I use nice big pieces, not wide, but long, so it makes sure the whole like area between the two pieces has nowhere touching the plastic, so anywhere where the gel coat might reach in, it'll hit the cardboard and stop. And then when you cure it and you pull it away, it literally pulls a perfect edge away from your cube. So yeah, it turns out really, really spectacular every time I've gone for it. So, and like this is one thing I pointed out in the 3x3 one, but I couldn't really show you because of the camera and whatnot. But if you want to come in kind of from the scalloped edges like this, and it makes it way easier to push your cardboard in. If you put it in, if you just try to like slide it in at the side, you're going to start smashing all your cardboards, and you're going to find them very hard to reuse. Like, because I reuse these side after side, and as long as like I just wipe any wet gel coat. And again, the only reason there's wet gel coat is because this is a wipe off thing. So when you finish your layer, you have to wipe off any residual wet. And that's what leaves such a nice, clean product behind, is because you've wiped off all of the excess. And that wipe, I mean, even after you've done the curing and it's still kind of wet to the touch, a hair could fall down on it and you would just wipe it off. That's kind of what I mean by it's so forgiving. Like, you can actually, make mistakes, or things can happen that are out of your control, like dust, dirt, dander, the 3Ds, and you can still fix that. So the only thing is you just want to try and keep it really, really clean and sterile while you're actually brushing it on, because that's that like 10 minutes of brushing and self-leveling that's like so crucial. After that, once the light hits it and it's cured, you're good. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the last 5 sides. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap back in with you guys and show you the end result. And you guys can go ahead and not only hopefully customize and UV coat your own cube, but you can also see what you have to look forward to in the giveaway. So we'll see you soon. What's up, everybody? Yellow. So I just wanted to come back. I decided to come back with one side left. I just figured if there's any last minute things I think of or whatever, let's go over them while I'm finishing this last side. But I have just one side to finish. It is already, as you can see, it's already been cardboarded. The rest of the cube has come out. You can see the gloss on that, on that red side, and the blue and green. Yeah, I can't wait to get to the unveiling of the final product, but I just wanted to, again, I wanted to go over just few little tips for the last bit here. Yeah, we're ready. I've already cleaned my side, inserted my cardboard, and yeah, again, I just wanted to point out to people who are worried about maybe gel coat getting inside your cube and changing the performance. Again, double up your cardboards if you're worried. Like, really make sure that nowhere, like I have 2 cardboards in this side. I don't know if you can kind of see that. There's extra ones jammed in there because I don't want any place, pretty much if there's no place where the plastic can even be exposed to each other. So every place where, so as these 2 pieces where they're touching from here all the way up to here, if you have a cardboard that is making sure there's no, like, not even an air gap between these pieces all the way down to here. You see, notice how my cardboard goes all the way down to the scalloped edge and all the way up to the scalloped edge. Both of them. That's why I said make extra long cardboard pieces, so that way they go down from curve all the way up to curve. That's the most important part. That's how we're keeping the gel coat from getting inside, because every time any extra that spills over, it sticks to that cardboard piece, and then you pull it out and it pulls anything that fell down there. And again, it keeps it from going down there because you have something sealed. It doesn't drip in between the cardboard and the gel or in the plastic. It stops it. So again, you're just getting this surface layer and pulling it off. Just wanted to kind of debunk some theories and some questions possibly. So just again, since I sitting there talking, and you could even accidentally like have saliva or something come out. I mean, if the littlest things can mess it up, and I'd rather just be on point. This is the last side. I'd rather it come out nice. Okay, so we're ready for our gel coat. Again, you want to just start with a pretty good solid glob, just because these 2x2 sides are very, very big compared to a 3x3 side. Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out, see, this is exactly why I wanted to do this, is Mr. Cube, I swear, in every video lately, you've gotten knocked down. And it's Kitty. She wants in, and I'm not letting it happen. Like I said, this is not the time for that. There is a time and place for her and her cuddles and whatnot, and this is not it. Don't get me wrong, I love my cat, but this is just not the time for that, and she doesn't understand. But one thing I wanted to say, and again, this is why I'm so glad that I took time to do this last side and give myself a few moments to think of last thoughts and whatnot before we end the video, is also, this is another tip on how to not get UV coating in between your pieces and layers and stuff, is so when I get close to the center where the screw is and everything, I'm not going over the edge and down. Like, I UV coat the top of the piece, but I do not go down like into and try and get like the edges of the insides, like of the little scalloped edges and stuff. Like, that's getting just ridiculous. I mean, if you want that covered, you can obviously do that if it's your project. But for mine, I think that's how you start getting yourself into maybe some trouble with getting gel coat on the inside layers. And I mean, whenever is someone going to inspect your cube and say, you didn't gel coat that the really inside edge of that top piece? I mean, that's ridiculous. So but as always, I'm doing just nice flat strokes, trying to, I mean, you don't want it to have to self-level very much. I mean, it'll get the brush strokes out, and it will get, I mean, you could technically like spackle it on like I was talking about, and it would probably fix it, but you don't want to have to make it do that. Like, one of the nice things too is I have the light so low right now and it really isn't curing or hardening at all so far on any of the layers I've done. I've gotten really lucky where if I've had to go back and make any adjustments or do any kind of last minute changes, it's been very accommodating because it's been very liquid, and that's totally up to you really, because how hot you have it in the room, how dry and humid the air is, how bright the room is, because again, UV light cures this stuff. So having UV lights on all around, it's gonna start to cure on its own, and that's gonna take away all that like forgiveness that I'm talking about, where you can kind of play with it after the fact. Because again, this gel coat's not supposed to harden until you give it a good nail lamp. But what's the sad fact is UV and LED lights are kind of everywhere around us. And so as much as they'd like to make it seem like that's a proprietary product that only nail companies sell, it's really not. As you can see, I use a flashlight. This was actually, I think, from like a concert or something. That was the blacklight flashlight. It was sold at a concert, so you could, but now it works for something totally different. But it's just my point being that resources can come from anywhere, and like light especially is something that people probably don't understand quite as much as they should about the lighting around them. But like, we have UV lighting all the time, and UV light is what gives you skin cancer and whatnot. And like, that's why I say like you should probably be wearing goggles, even wearing like skin protection. That's why usually, like I said, I would do this if I wasn't doing this on camera for you guys. I would do it inside of a box and line that box with tin foil. Again, it helps reflect. So when you're doing the curing process, sorry, let me reset my timer. But when you're doing the curing process, that light is also shining everywhere else. It's not just on the cube. So if you can reflect all that light back at the cube, then all sides are continuing to cure more and more and more, and more light isn't going to hurt it. Too little, it's not going to cure enough, but too much light will do absolutely nothing but continue to harden it. So I'm just killing some time as this side. So I say give it 10 minutes. I've been doing only 5 lately, because after 5 I look at it and it's literally like glass flat. Nope. Sorry, kitty, not happening. And I mean, it's easy to jump the gun too. I mean, it's easy to think it looks flat, go ahead and start curing it after like a minute or two, and then at the very end you're like, oh, there's a few like very slight wavy ripples, and that's what that extra 5 to 10 minutes is gonna do, is gonna take that out. If you really give it at least 5 minutes. 10 would be great, but 10 means just you also have to keep the dust, dirt, and dander away for that much longer. That's why as soon as it seems ready, you're good to go. But just be sure, because that's where it's going to be kind of locked in at. Which brings me to actually another point. We have like another couple minutes here before I'm ready to cure this last side. So, and I have something I've mentioned in my old videos, but I don't know if I've mentioned it in my new ones, and it's a very helpful tactic and technique. So I would refer to it as chemical sanding. So if you have a side that maybe there are lumps, or maybe you have an undesired finished product and it's not exactly what you're hoping for, maybe there's imperfections, maybe there's ripples or brush strokes, or who knows. But sorry, our video cut out there. But what I can tell you about that though is it's all totally fixable and absolutely workable. So if you come out with, like I said, an undesirable end product, it's just maybe a little too wavy, a little too ripply, I mean, you have a few options. You can literally just kind of like take a screwdriver or flathead or something and just try and, if you can get under that gel coat, it'll usually kind of like peel off, like, I hate to use this analogy, like the dead skin or something. That's what it looks like. It's clear, and it'll just clearly like peel off the piece if you really get under it. But that's kind of hard to do. So another way is, again, if you don't want to just and you don't have to necessarily take it all off, but you have more options. So your second option to fix a piece that may not be perfect is take that piece of the cube off And I brought this up earlier in the video, but like I said, it's a lot of work. But if you're down to like, if you're finished and you have just one piece that didn't come out right and it's really bothering you, then it's absolutely worth it. I'm just saying that, like, to do this for every cube, for every side, for every piece, that this would be a lot of work. But to dial in a few pieces is nothing. So again, if you have a piece you don't like, take it off the cube, take a piece of sandpaper and just rub it down until you really get those ripples out. And once you get those ripples out, it'll look funny, but you can easily then wipe it down with alcohol, get it nice and clean, and once it's flat, put a real nice thin coat of gel coat on it and re-cure it, and boom, it's fixed. I mean, that piece might have the most slight thicker bit of gel coat, but it's gonna look nice. It'll probably help, at least with me and OCD, it would help, please that part of my brain that drives me nuts when I see something that's out of place. But so then your third option though, and this is the new option that I've never really brought up before. So I brought up chemical sanding as far as like using alcohol to wipe down your cubes and to remove imperfections. But that, like I've also said, alcohol will continue to cure the gel coat, and so it continues to harden and harden and harden. So like the more you continue to wipe it down with alcohol wipes and whatnot, it continues to cure that gel coat, and it continues to harden, and it'll take off a very, very minor layer, which is actually really good because most of the time gel coats go on kind of too thick and add too much weight, too much thickness to all that. So the more you can kind of thin it out, the better. And that's why I prefer the wipe off, is it takes off a lot of the excess, because most gel coats, this would be the end product. So I've wiped it on, it's settled, it's ready, you'd cure it, and that would be it. Where when after I cure mine, so it's been just about 5 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and start. So when I cure mine, where most brands, when you're done curing, you'll pull it out from away the light, or pull it away from the light, and it'll be rock hard and it'll be done. This one, again, because it's a wipe off, let's see, so just making sure, check our timer. So when we're done curing, if I were to touch it with my finger, it would still feel wet. And that's where you take the alcohol wipe and you're gonna remove that whole wet layer. And what's crazy is underneath that is a glass hard, smoothie, glassy layer of UV coating or gel coat. And again, this is why I prefer this brand, is because instead of just having it be this thick, bubbly, even if it looks nice, it's still, I've noticed, adds a lot of weight and a lot of changes. It doesn't look square anymore. It almost looks like pillowed, or each single piece looks like has a slight like pillowed effect to it, or inflated, and it will absolutely change the way your cube feels. So coming back to what I was talking about before about other techniques and how I don't think they leave your cube in the best shape, especially taking the cube apart into like single solitary side pieces and doing them all at once. They're not going to lay flat. This gel coat would not work with that technique. I don't know if that stuff cures faster, or if they were just simply putting it on and putting it right under the light and getting it to harden up right away. But I know it was ripply and very imperfect, and had a lot of brush strokes and whatnot. And so again, this wouldn't happen with this. But again, you wouldn't be able to ever use this gel coat in that method. You could put it on and simply put it under the light, but you'd get that same result of a bunch of brush strokes and all that. You need the time to self-level, and if it's not level, I don't know how that's going to work for you. It'll literally just run off the piece. It stays very liquid. That's the beauty of it, again, is because you can continue to work with it. I mean, even say you're waiting your 5 minutes for it to self-level, and you haven't cured it yet, and then you all of a sudden are looking at it and you see a little piece of dust, and you're like, no, everything looks so good. I don't want it to look, have an imperfection now. Well, if you haven't cured it yet, that should all be wet, and you should just be able to take your brush, simply just do some brush strokes over that area, and it'll remove that piece of dust and give it another few minutes to self-level, and I mean, it's, if you don't rush it, and you'll have a very nice product by the end of it. And like I said, it wants to work with you. Like I do feel like that. And this was recommended to me by a nail technician, so I think that there's a reason that people use this, is that it's very user friendly. Again, if that's what people are wanting to use every day, day in and day out, doing other people's nails or whatever, then there must be a reason. And I think that's because it lets you work with it. Sorry, I'm just running my mouth here while we get this totally cured. This is the very last side, and I just want it to come out nice. Just gonna give it another 30 seconds, make sure it's right. Again, this is where I go longer than needed. Most people do. Again, the bottle says 30 seconds. A minute would probably suffice. Of course, I'm the overachiever where I do 2 to 3 minutes. Again, there's no downside to doing more time. It's not like it can over harden or crack or something. It just keeps curing. So there we are. So let's turn our lights off. I love how this looks. Again, probably terrible for my eyes and skin and everything, but whew. So, but this looks beautiful. I can already tell, and I'm already so excited to show you guys. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that stuff up, and so I didn't quite finish my thought about the chemical sanding, but the third option was, like I talked about, using alcohol to sand down, to chemically sand the side of your cube. Well, over alcohol, acetone or nail polish remover, and if you think about this, it may not be a nail polish, but it's a gel coat, which is similar family. So what you could do is, again, if the alcohol isn't taking it down far enough, because again, it's only going to take it down so much. It's only going to take down like little imperfections or little bits of dust and things, and it's going to remove and harden the gel coat. And at a certain point, if like there's really bad ripples and stuff, like I could understand that you'd want to fix that. And again, so you have to be very careful. Acetone will, if you go through the gel coat, I'm guessing acetone will start to eat the plastic on your cube. So like, if you wanted to, like, take, just like I take this alcohol wipe, put some nail polish remover on it, and wipe down if there's a piece maybe that has brush strokes or bumps or ripples or a piece of dust or an imperfection or whatever. You could, take it off the cube. That way it's isolated and you don't mess up any of the other parts. That might be what I recommend. But if you think that you can do it without affecting the other parts, then more power to you. Make sure I didn't have any drips. Every side I made sure to check that there was no drips, because it was such a bummer on the last cube. I had one big drip, and I just had to redo that piece, and I had to do exactly what I'm talking about. I had to take it off, and I actually had to remove the whole gel coat because I had already cured it. I didn't really want to try using acetone because I didn't want to possibly mess up the plastic or anything. But again, if you're just but if you're just trying to take it down a little bit, just use a little bit of acetone. Again, take maybe that piece off the puzzle just so you aren't affecting other gel coat or any other plastics or anything, but just rub it and it will start to come off quickly, because that's what this is. Like, I've actually asked the nail technician I got this from, I'm like, what do you use to actually remove it? And she said, you use nail polish remover, and obviously, but I don't know why I didn't think of that before. But again, if I'm going to chemically sand, again, you can use alcohol, but that takes a lot of time and a lot of rubbing, and again, it's just going to keep hardening that surface as well. So where this, it will actually take it down, but just be careful because it's going to take it off quick. So again, you just want to probably take the piece off and give it a few wipes, and you're going to notice it's going to start coming off quickly. Then once you get it to the desired place, take an alcohol wipe or just a paper towel and wipe it off clean. And then you may have to just like I was talking about before, where you took the gel coat off, or if you fix something, you might have to put a new layer of gel coat on it. but just try and make that second layer thin so you don't, overdo it. But yeah, these are all just tips. I've done this so much now that I've seen all the possible outcomes and problems and whatnot. And yeah, I just every time you do it, you're like, I feel like it makes you want to become more of a perfectionist about it. Maybe not some people, but me, for sure. And this thing is done, by the way. I'm just really shining it up for you guys because this is the big reveal here. So now that we've done that last paper towel was very soaked in alcohol. Now that the whole cube is essentially all gel coated or UV coated, that's when I've already done my wipe off for each side, like the orange. Oh man, look how good that looks. You can see some wipe strokes, sorry. It seriously came out like perfect. So as you can see, I'm gonna do more viewing of it, but as you first, so like I was saying, before I wiped it, after I cured it, but before I wiped it off, if I would have touched it, it would have been still like kind of tacky or sticky, or it actually would have been like wet feeling still. And so that's something to remember, is that like you're not just, where most gel coats you would just cure it and it would be done. That's actually a downside. A lot of people would think, oh, it's nice, it's just done, but it's actually a downside because then there's no room for, kind of playing with it. And like I said, I don't think that this would have came out as flat and nice and square. I think these pieces would be a lot more bubbled and pillowed if I hadn't used this wipe off brand. So here we go. Here's the big reveal. Sorry, one last time. But what I meant to say was, not only is it kind of wet before you wipe it off, but after you wipe it off, the nail is like ever so tacky. Just like, or not nail, sorry, cube. I was talking to my friend that does nails, and she was talking about the same thing. But so the nail will, or the cube will still be slightly tacky, and that's where the more you wipe it with the alcohol, the more it hardens. So don't be scared. It's not taking off, but like a fraction of a nothing. It's really just kind of curing and hardening. And that's where, like, I gave the advice to use alcohol to do your chemical sanding, but it takes so long, and I felt like there's got to be a better way. And then when she said nail polish remover, I was like, oh, duh. So, okay. And don't mind, I'm sure there's going to be some fingerprints and whatnot, but like overall, this thing came out beautiful. There's some white marks from the towel, and it's like I said before, if people aren't showing off their work at the end, because this is not easy, and it takes time, it takes, effort and everything, so if they're not showing off their work, I'd be a little bit hesitant to follow their advice, because, you should be proud of what you're doing, and you should be proud of the results you get. You can still see white marks, but I think you guys get the idea. This thing came out really nice. Honestly, the 3x3 and 2x2, those are, I think, the nicest UV coating projects I've ever done. I've done a ton of my own cubes, and the saddest thing is, it's sad for me, great for you guys, but I think that you guys have gotten the best cubes I've ever done. The best magnetization projects, the best UV coating. I don't think I have any cubes that look this nice, because mine were all part of the learning curve. I have some that look really good, and I've showed them off, but this is like semi-perfect. This is about as close to perfect as I've ever seen a DIY UV coating go. And again, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn. I'm just looking at the facts here. I can't wait for you guys to get someone to get this in their hands and just be like, this is done at home. I honestly, I would almost not believe someone at this point if they tried to tell me that. And very last thing, this is going back to addressing the like gel coat in between the layers. Like I said, no matter what, you should always go through and check regardless. So like I'll either take my fingernail and I'll run it just through this whole piece right here. Same thing right here. Again, on 2x2, it's pretty easy because there's way less pieces. But yeah, if there's not anything in here, if there was even a little piece, it would flake out for one. And if not, like, you would see it, or this stuff hardens, and it hardens quick. So like it's just, yeah, you're not gonna get a bunch of goo everywhere because it's gonna harden, and then, you know, like I said, it flakes out. But it's easy to do a quality control little check on this, and this thing is perfect. There's the Maylong 2x2, you guys. Let's go ahead and give it away. Saturday is going to be the giveaway. We'll give everyone a couple days between working and it being the middle of the week. We'll give some people time to get into the giveaway. But again, I am a small channel. We don't have a ton of people or anything, so you have a good chance of winning. Plus, I still need to do a premium lube setup on this. I'll probably do a very similar one to the 3x3, where I just do both Angstrom lubes, do Mystic, FC Calm, and maybe something else a little special, but I think that's about it. That's my usual go-to. But yeah, this thing feels so nice. Man. Yeah, this is really nice. A little bit tight. I think I'm gonna loosen up and lube it and call it a night. You guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully this helped. Like, as always, I know I'm a little long-winded on some topics, but I do a lot of research, and I watch everyone else's videos as well, and I'm just trying to give you the most accurate and best information as I can. So I apologize again if it was long or repetitive or any of that, but I've watched a lot of the same mistakes get made over and over, so I've really tried to reiterate those points. And again, I apologize if I ramble, but you guys have a great night. Hopefully this helps. Again, it's very similar to a 3x3. The magnetization is more the difference with the 2x2. But good luck, everyone, and good luck in the giveaway. Like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, leave an idea for a video or anything you'd like to see from this channel in the future as your comment, and we'd really appreciate it. Have a great night, and take care.